Thank you. Wow, welcome to Unity, and thank you to Huron Bro and Chris Neal for that fantastic performance. Let's give them a hand again. Thank you. I am Patty Yoon. I will be your platform leader today. This morning we have Jessica and Joaquin back on video and audio. We have Alan Russell, who will be giving us our meditation and affirmations. Our co-spiritual leader, Art Handy, will be sharing today's message. And once again, we want to welcome all of you. Let's give Huron and Chris another hand, and everyone who is helping make this morning possible. Our greatest desire is that you're inspired by the music, the message, the meditation. You are an inspiration and a blessing to us. Every month, we celebrate one of the spiritual powers that our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, identified and discerned to be within each one of us. This month, the power is the power of love. The color is pink. And love, the power of love, is the ability to harmonize, to unify, to desire, to have an attraction to and affection for. So with that power of love, let's say our mission statement together. Inspiring spiritual transformation as a vibrant, diverse, and inclusive community. And with that same power of love, let's say our statement of being together. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. Once again, we want to welcome and thank everyone who is connected here today. We especially want to welcome those of you who are here for the very first time. Unity is a worldwide ministry dedicated to the ongoing awareness of the Spirit within all. We invite you to consider our teachings. Wherever you may be on your spiritual journey, keep what works for you and gently release the rest. We will now bless everyone who is watching today. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ as you, just as you are. Amen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to those of you here in person and those of you who are streaming with us online through the live stream. As we ready ourselves for a time of prayer, wanted to bring a few folks in mind in our spiritual community. We're holding Eleanor Ferris in our prayers this morning. Her mom is currently in the hospital, set to be released tomorrow, as she navigates a health challenge, and it looks like the arrow is definitely pointing up. Even still, we want to hold Eleanor in our prayers. We're also thinking about Steve and Carol Radcliffe this morning. Carol Radcliffe is healing up nicely from her recent surgery. Her husband, Steve, there's an appointment tomorrow to determine next steps for the medical challenges that he is going through. And Carol's wonderful mom is in the process of going into her transition. So we want to hold Carol and Steve and Mom in our prayers, most definitely. In light of events that have been going on this week in Ukraine and on the border area, I thought I would do the prayer this morning, a prayer for world peace. And this prayer comes from Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science. So as I say these words, as I affirm this prayer, allow yourself to be in a prayerful space and allow these words to wash over you. I found this prayer very comforting, and I hope that you will too. I know there is but one mind, which is the mind of God, in which all people live, move, and have their being. I know there is a divine pattern for humanity, and within this pattern, there is infinite harmony and peace, cooperation, unity, and mutual helpfulness. I know that the mind of man being one with the mind of God, shall discover the method, the way, and the means best fitted to permit the flow of divine love between individuals and nations. Thus harmony, peace, cooperation, unity, and mutual helpfulness will be experienced by all. I know there shall be a free exchange of ideas, of cultures, of spiritual concepts, of ethics, of educational systems, and of the scientific discoveries, for all good belongs to all alike. I know that because the divine mind has created us all, we are all bound together in one infinite and perfect unity. In bringing about world peace, I know that all people and all nations will remain individual, yet unified for the common purpose of promoting peace, happiness, harmony, and prosperity. I know that deep within every person, the divine pattern of perfect peace is already implanted. I now declare that each person and in leaders of thought everywhere, this divine pattern moves into action and form to the end that all nations and all people shall live together in peace, harmony, and prosperity forever. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Huron. Beautiful. My name is Alan Russell. I'll be leading us this morning in our affirmations, followed by the meditation. So please join with me together as we repeat our affirmations. I release any uncertainty and affirm my oneness with God. God love continually guides and blesses me. With love, I accept myself and others. So as we enter this time of meditation, I invite you to close your eyes if you wish, or relax your gaze. And feel all the muscles of your body relaxing. For a moment, we will concentrate on the breath. Deep, cleansing breaths. In and out. And for a moment, all thoughts, all worries, all concerns fade away. The noise of the world around us is silenced. This is our time, if just for a moment, to move from the outer to the inner, to surrender to Spirit. We are one with the One. Much of the joy and pain in life is found in how we interact to those around us. And each relationship has a unique effect on the quality of our lives. The way we interact with others will affect how they will relate to us. For there is no climate more rewarding than one in which we give the best of ourselves. Although at times difficult, we can learn to do this and to encourage others to do the same. Relationships must be fed with love and understanding in order to grow strong. If we allow misunderstanding or hurt feelings to dominate our thoughts, relationships grow weak and can be lost or damaged. When we give and receive love openly, relationships blossom. If we open ourselves to the love of God, we know that every circumstance, no matter how it appears outwardly, can be transformed by this magnificent love. Transformed into a situation that is satisfying and rewarding. And as we pray for that special bond with another, for a greater understanding of all people, let us release the outcome to God. As we allow ourselves to feel the love of Spirit within, we also sense this love in those around us. And as we relax further, feel and experience the love of God during this sacred time. For the love of God is within us, around us, moving through us. In this moment, our bodies and minds are relaxed and attuned to this love. As we breathe in this precious love. And as we breathe out, we let go of any cares. Right here, right now, there is only divine love. This love resonates within our hearts and minds as the one true light. We speak only words of love. We think only words of love. And we experience and express love completely. And as we express God's love, it is reflected back to us in so many ways. We see divine love in the smiles of those around us. We can hear love in the voices of those we interact with. can see the love in the eyes of everyone we meet. Led by God's light, we find new ways to cooperate with one another, new ways to live in harmony and understanding. In the light of God's love, we reach deep within ourselves for patience and strength, for the insight and courage to bless and release those people who seem hurtful to us. And for the understanding and wisdom to learn from every experience. In the light of divine love, we open our hearts completely to those around us and to the love within them. And as we express divine love, we attract loving, joyous people into our lives. We are blessed with friendships and relationships that are satisfying and spiritually healthy. Let us now spend some time in the silence, feeling the love within. In the light of God's love, we are in tune with the people around us and with all humanity. When our path crosses another's, love is there. It guides us and inspires us. We see beauty, grace, and harmony wherever we look. We hear oneness in every voice. We give thanks to God for the guidance, the understanding, and the inspiration to create our world as one of serenity and joy. Our world is in harmony, and we are at peace. We know this to be the truth, and by the name and the nature of the Christ within, let us affirm together and say, so it is. Amen.
Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Can you sing that with me? Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see. I want to see you. I want to see you. I want to see you. That's it. Open the eyes. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Listen to this. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing holy, holy, holy. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing holy, holy, holy. To see you high and lifted up, shining, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing holy, 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 to see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Holy, holy, holy. All over the building. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. I want to see you.
Holy, holy, holy. A word which means whole, by the way, WHOLE. Well, it's a true fact that from the very earliest beginnings of humankind, there has always been a value placed on stories. Most of us today, when we take in stories, we might watch a documentary or a movie depicting a story. But in the earliest of times, stories were communicated orally. As a matter of fact, there are many cultures that have a very valued and prized tradition of having storytellers. These are usually people who were older, who had more life experience and a little more wisdom, that could convey stories that would be very resonant. And from that time, human beings have always valued story. I think stories are very important, stories of people, stories of groups of people, stories of nations, all kinds of stories. And if you are a human being, you are immersed in stories. For example, me being a person, I'm a husband, a father, a grandfather, an engineering technician, a spiritual leader, a fellow human being, a neighbor, and so many other things. There are stories behind each and every one of those facets of my life. And within each one of those realms, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stories that talk about the journey, that talk about the experiences, that talk about the triumphs and the victories, that talk about the failures, the challenges, and setbacks. All of these things are a part of the stories that make up our lives. I think it's very important that we take time to honor stories and honor our stories, as well as honor the stories of other people, because it opens up a gateway and a pathway for us to be able to relate to each other on much deeper levels. I think it was 2019 at the Unity People's Convention of 2019. I think the theme was One Humanity, Many Stories. And that's very important. That's very important because we do share a common humanity, and it is by the telling of stories and the celebrating of stories that we are able to understand that fact. Now, there are some obvious things that storytelling does for us and celebrating stories does for us. Celebrating stories speaks to our sense of wanting to experience adventure and discovery. Stories inform us. Stories give us an indication of the world around us. Some very obvious benefits of stories. I think among the greatest benefits that stories offer us are the stories that allow us to see our deep humanity, and the stories that allow us to understand our common humanity, our shared humanity. And this is how stories can be very empowering. They can empower, they can inspire, they can uplift. But admittedly, depending upon the context in which the story is told and the intentions behind the telling, stories can belittle, they can repress, they can marginalize, minimize, and we've certainly seen some of that. So the invitation today is to consider the importance of the stories of our lives, the stories of other people's lives, and develop a curiosity and a fun willingness to engage in people's stories, to engage in our own stories. Because when we do this, that puts us on a common wavelength of humanity that we just can't get to from small talk, from pleasantries. The invitation of the times that we live in is to see what it is that connects us, what binds us, what causes us to have a similar life essence and flow. And stories are one of the great ways that we understand this. When we understand a person's journey and we endeavor to stick with the story long enough, we will eventually arrive at a place where when we see the person and understand the person, we begin to see ourselves in the person. And that is true if the person has a completely different background, they're a completely different race, they come from a completely different part of the world, they have a completely different experience. If we stay with their story long enough, we can see the things in their story that are common to us and that are resonant with us. And when we get to that level of relating to one another, that gives us the basis for changing the world. By seeing that common humanity. Now, this talk was inspired by a very wonderful and powerful TED Talk that I took in about a couple of years ago. And it was by a woman who is a Nigerian writer. Her name is Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. She's a Nigerian writer, and she's wrote several books and articles and papers, and she did this powerful TED Talk entitled The Danger of a Single Story. And the arc of the talk was when we allow ourselves to take in the many stories of humanity, we can see our common humanity, and when we limit the stories that we take in, we get a very limited and jaded view of humanity. And when we dare to make judgments about ourselves, judgments about other people, and take actions based upon a limited view of humanity, then it doesn't lead to anything good. And here she has a few words about stereotyping. And stereotyping, simply put, is when we take in one facet of one person and make that the entirety of their being. And a lot of times that one facet of the one person is something that is personally dislikable to us. So if I limit you because I make a judgment about you that you're lazy and your entire worth and existence as a human being is that you are a lazy being, not only am I doing an injustice to you in my heart and mind, by limiting you, I'm also doing an injustice to myself because that speaks of an imbalance within my own heart and my own mind and my own consciousness. So here's some words from Chimamanda from this TED Talk that she did. The single story creates stereotypes, and the problem with stereotypes is not that they are untrue, but they are incomplete. They make one story become the only story. The consequences of the single story is this: it robs people of dignity, it makes our recognition of our equal humanity difficult, and it emphasizes how we are different rather than how we are similar. Okay, here's a come to Jesus moment. How many people here have experienced it when someone else misjudged us and limited us to one aspect of who we are? Show of hands. And if you're at home, raise your hand or say me. Now, how many of us have ourselves looked at a person in a very limited way and reduced them down to one facet of their being? And if you're at home, go ahead and we've all experienced it. So we all know how painful it can be. And on the other end, we also know how guilty we can feel when we make a prejudgment about somebody only to come to know them and take in more of their stories and take in more of their journey, and then realize that they are nothing like the original projection, prejudgment, or our limited way of looking at them that we first came to. I'm sure we all experienced that too. I know I have. So when we take in stories, it allows us to know, when we take in our own stories, it allows us to know ourselves deeper. It allows us to administer some self-compassion, as Paul talked about last week. And it also gives us a basis point from which to stretch to higher levels of being and higher levels of expression. And when we take in other people's stories, we get to know them better. We get to discover that they are whole beings. We get to discover that there are many facets of their lives, and we eventually arrive at the place where we see this common humanity that we share with them. This common humanity, if we can ever get to a real heart-mind consciousness of our common humanity, that creates in us fertile ground to discover a deeper truth about ourselves. And to illustrate this deeper truth, I want to show you all something. I want to show you all. Okay. How about this? Can you hear me? Okay. I want to show you all a picture of these aspens. These are aspens that are located in the south central part of Utah. This is one picture of a 106-mile field of these aspens in south central Utah. I want to show you some more shots and some more pictures of some of these aspens. Now, when looking at these pictures, it would be very easy to conclude, wow, that's a lot of trees. 106 acres of trees. That's a lot. What if I told you that the pictures that you are looking at are incomplete pictures? And again, this is in south central Utah in these United States. What if I told you that underneath the ground where these pictures are is a very elaborate stem system that eventually works its way down into a single root? Now, over these 106 acres of aspens, there are 47,000 of these aspens. 47,000. And the fact that they eventually work their way into a single root system tells us that we are not looking at individual trees. We are looking at one living organism. Those aspens that you see are not really trees. They're more like branches. One living organism. The locals in this area have a name for this. They have a name for this one living organism. They call it Pando, P-A-N-D-O. It's Italian for many aspens. Now, here's some cool facts about this row of aspens. Again, 106 acres that they stretch. 47,000 individual aspen branches arise from this one root system. It weighs approximately 13 million pounds. It is said by the locals that the way that the leaves are arranged on the branches, when wind blows through them, they produce a very wonderful sound. Fascinating thing. I found this out about a couple of years ago, and I've always wanted to use it in a talk, so today is my chance. So these aspens, they stem from one reality, and so do you and I. We stem from one common divinity. We stem from the realm of pure divinity. Each and every one of us are a unique expression of the Christ reality that is an integral part of divinity. Each and every one of us. And like these aspens that have the same genetic markers, we spring from one divinity. But also like these aspens all have individual expressions, and they don't look exactly the same. Same thing with you and I. Even though we spring from one divinity and share a common humanity, each of us have a beautiful individual expression. And on a sad note about these aspen trees that I'm sharing with you, this organism is dying. It is dying because of a couple of reasons. Number one, these aspens are a good source of food for the local deer and elk population there. And also, the tree shows evidence of exhibiting a couple of diseases that are common to aspen trees. So there is a large team of folks, of scientists, conservationists, agriculturists, culturalists, philosophical groups that have partnered together, and local volunteers that have partnered together to try to save this tree. And by the way, it's estimated that this tree is at least 13,000 years old. So much like this one organism, we spring from one divinity. And when we take in each other's stories and we learn more about each other, one of my art isms is that the only way you can really get to know a person is to develop a relationship with them. And in the course of developing a relationship, you learn more and more about the person's stories, and they learn more about yours. And the more you take in those stories, the more that it fosters a deeper connection to where I can see a little bit of myself in you, and you can see a little bit of yourself in me, even though we have completely different backgrounds. And when we get to this place of resonance, when we get to this place of knowing, when we get to this place of understanding ourselves and each other, then we can know a sentiment that Charles Fillmore expressed in his book Christian Healing, that when people understand each other, love increases. When people understand each other, love increases. No law, no treaty, no legislation can do what this level of mutual shared consciousness can do in the way of bringing about peace in our world and bringing about harmony and mutual cooperation, as Dr. Holmes talked about in that prayer that I started off. That's what's needed to create a better world. That's what's needed to create a more harmonious situation. And when we do that, we can all come together and collectively say, hallelujah. I see myself in you. You see yourself in me. I bow to you because the divinity in me honors the divinity in you. That's the namaste consciousness. So we take in these stories, learn about each other, love each other, and let's go make merry, everybody. God bless you.
Oh, we are certainly blessed here at Unity of Wichita by the music, the message, the meditation, and by love. please consider giving an offering or a tithe this morning. If you're here in the sanctuary, as you leave, at the rear and the front, there are offering plates for your use. If you're at home, go now to the chat box, the link at Facebook or YouTube leading to our donations page for a secure financial gift, our PayPal account, or our mailing address to the physical building. You can also bring it to the church during our regular business hours, 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Whatever amount you are guided to give, just hold it over your heart. Visualize your electronic tithe, and let's say our offering blessing together. Divine love flowing from me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, all that I receive, and I am grateful. Amen.
The Jesus in me loves the Jesus in you. The Jesus in me loves the Jesus in you. It's so easy. You're easy. You're easy. Easy to love. Oh, the Jesus in me loves the Jesus in me. The Jesus in me loves the Jesus in you. You're easy. You're easy. Better know you're easy. You're easy to love.
If I felt like I could follow you, I would have joined in. I love that. Good morning, good morning. So this morning, I am happy to announce that this week we begin the Lenten season. So the Lenten books are available if you'd like to pick them up out on your way out. There's also some near the front door, so be sure and pick those up. Every year, Unity headquarters creates these Lenten booklets, and they're such a great support as we go through the process of releasing and renewing ourselves throughout the Easter and Lenten season. So be sure and pick that up. We have a wonderful thank you to announce to all of those of you who came either online via Zoom or came in person as we welcomed Avery Osen from Good Day, Kansas to come and visit our creation station. And so you guys, be sure to check out at 12:30 on Channel 3, Good Day, Kansas on March 23rd. That's when that spot will be aired on Channel 3, and it'll be a lot of fun. We had a great time with them, and we had people on Zoom from Florida and Kansas City, and I think there was one from South Carolina maybe. I don't remember where that other person had come in from that I didn't know. So that's exciting. Isn't that fun? Yes! Right? Yeah, okay. I thought so. I just checking. Okay, so we have the potluck luncheon next week, so be sure and remember that we need dishes and we need helping hands. So join us. Be sure and bring your appetite, because every time that we have brought this back since we were shut down in 2020 and slowly reemerged in 2021, each month that we do it, it gets better and better and better. So I just saw an absolutely from over here. So so be sure and join us next Sunday, March 6th. So, Mr. Handy, I think I'll let you take this one.
Do you have any more after this?
Nope, just the after experience. And we'll see you guys at 11:15. My goodness, you guys. The annual meeting is coming up March 27th. So if you're a member, be sure and check in with the eBlast or Facebook page so that we can effectively communicate to you how you can attend. Of course, we would like to have you here in person, but if you are unable to do that, we're going to be offering a Zoom link, and we'll have further instructions about your ability to vote and what's happening in that regard coming up soon. Thank you to the production team. All right.
Yes, beginning in March, I will be leading another book study entitled, and the book that we'll be studying is entitled The Sacred Human. It is written by longtime Unity minister, Reverend Jim Rosemergy, who I'm told has visited Wichita a few times. Didn't know that previously, but that's a wonderful thing. And so basically, you hear Reverend Dr. Paul Hasselbeck talk all the time about we are fully human and fully divine. And many spiritual-minded, spiritual-seeking people, very earnestly and honestly, we can easily take in our various spiritual practices, but sometimes we can leave our humanity behind. If we're not careful, we will allow when we go through things, when we go through challenges, when we have periods where we don't feel our best or we go through difficult emotions, we can be harsh with ourselves and judge ourselves to not be spiritual when we're going through very human-like ups and downs. Well, this book is an invitation for us to consider that not only are those human ups and downs a part of the journey, they are just as spiritually nurturing for us to go through as we are in our more prayerful and meditative moments. So it's an invitation for self-compassion, an invitation to honor our humanness and not see it as something less than sacred. And so it's a fun little book, and there'll be some exercises through the book study. So if you want to engage in that with me, you are more than welcome to do so. It'll be on Zoom starting next month, and I would love to have you. And the book can be readily ordered from Amazon. Last I checked, they had plenty of them, and so we can go from there. So I would hope to have you. And the last thing before we end off, I forgot a fun fact about Pando. It is recognized as being the largest organism living in the world today. So that's another fun fact. With that kind of fun, we will go ahead and lead to the end of our Sunday experience. Thank you all, those of you who are in person and those of you who are watching online. You all are all a part of our spiritual community, and you are the Sunday experience, and you inspire us each and every day. So now, as we go into our close, we will move into affirming our prayer of protection, and then we will sing the peace song. So those of you who are here in person, if you're willing and if you're able, we invite you to stand. Those of you who are at home, and even those of us who are here, let us put our hands over our hearts and really feel our heartbeat. And from this place and from this space, we will now affirm our prayer protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our creator, loved ones all around. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony.
Amen.